Welcome, everyone. For you of those that don't know me, my name's Jeff, aka Mad Hatter Organics, and this is the Growers Exchange podcast. I wanted to start this podcast to get more information out there about different growers, breeders, and industry companies. So stick with us as we exchange all types of grower knowledge. First off, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Autopot USA, for the best plant-driven automated watering system out there. Use discount code MADHATTER10 on autopot-usa.com for 10% off your entire order. Now, let's get started with the conversation. Welcome, everybody, to the 13th episode of the Growers Exchange podcast. First, I just want to take a minute to apologize for the delay in episodes. Being sick for the past 2 weeks, you might be able to tell I still have that little nasal left off in my sinuses here, but on the mend. So I don't know what I caught, but I mean, everyone's got it. So it is what it is. But I come again with another awesome episode, another awesome guest, Mr. Johnny Apple, my brother from across the continent, way over on the East Coast there. And yeah, I think you is a good friend of mine. So welcome in.
Me too, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been in the works for a minute here. So
Yeah, I had to bail on you a couple of times, personal issues and shit, but we got it figured out.
yeah, no, it's all good. We got busy lives, man. Busy lives.
Yeah, no doubt. They keep getting busier too. Let's take on some more shit. Hey, what are you taking on?
Oh, I got yeah. This whole insect frass thing. It's just waiting for lab results back now. So it's just a kind of
Oh,
a
is that where you're
slow
at now?
little delay, but it's just it's just a waiting game for right now. But yeah,
Right on, man.
packaging, labeling, trying to just get everything on the go.
Hell yeah, I can't wait to get some and try some.
Yeah. If I can, I'll definitely send you some.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But tell all the listeners who you are, where you're from, if you want to dox yourself or not. But
Yeah, man. I'm Johnny Apple. I'm from New York, and it's pretty much it, man. I'm a grower. Uh I've been the co-host of a podcast for the last few months, called Your Average Grow. Pretty good show. Everybody should check that out.
yeah,
Um, Other than that, I've only been growing a few years. Just jumped in the community. I think we met through cultivation conversation. So
yeah,
yeah, not much to that. So
awesome,
that's who I am, and that's where I'm from.
beauty. How long have you
Yeah, man.
been in the grow scene for?
Well, the scene. I don't know about if I'm in the scene or not, but I've been growing a couple years. I would say 2020, 2021, something like that. When shit hits the fan. Well, when New York legalized it is when I decided it was time to start growing because I hadn't been a cannabis consumer until then.
Mm.
I had partaken, as a child or whatever, not a child, but my teenage years. But then fresh out of teenage years, I jumped into the army, spent 9 years in the army, and then I spent 10 years working for a corporation that disagrees with the use of cannabis and drug tests like a mother. So, uh, hadn't been able to partake until New York changed their laws. And when that happened, I said, "Well, I'm not getting street shit." So
Yeah,
I'd always wanted to grow. So when the laws changed, I said, "Fuck it, now's the time." And just planted some seeds, man, and it was a shit show. But yeah, 2020, 21, something like that. I think it was 21, something like that. Who
yeah,
knows?
sweet. Well, I think I speak
So,
for everyone, and I thank you for your service. Even though I'm a Canadian, you guys, do help us out. We are partners in the whole,
yeah,
whole
man, we
world
worked
of
with some
war. So
Canadians when I was in. Heck yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, thank you for your service. Um, I guess
Absolutely.
let's just dive right into your whole, cultivation experience and everything. You're on for a few years now, but one thing that kind of really piqued my interest about you is the whole earth boxes and the whole living soil beds and everything. So let's maybe talk a little bit about your earth boxes. I've been interested in them for a while, Where I am, I can't get them easily from like a Lowe's or Home Depot or something. And if I can, they're ridiculously expensive. Uh,
Really?
yeah, they're, I can't even remember the price. I've checked them out a couple months ago, and I think they're $150 or something for a small one.
Just for the box?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I remember a few years ago they were like $60, but those were at Lowe's, and the nearest Lowe's for me was like 400 kilometers away. So, but
Dang, dude.
yeah,
You must be out there. Earth boxes, man, they're a sub-irrigated planter and they just work.
yeah,
The benefit to them is being able to mound up the top dressings. That's why it's the normal size earth boxes. There's a couple. There's an earth box mini, and then there's the earth box regular or whatever they call it, the original. It holds like 7 to 10 gallons. So most people start off with like 7 gallons, and then they just, as they grow and as they start seeing feeder roots, you start to just mound on the top dressing. Um, and because they're sub irrigated, they eat what they want from the top and they drink what they want from the bottom. So, and they just, man, I don't know if it's the shape of them or what it is, but they work.
nice. Yeah, they're kind of similar to, I guess, an Autopot, but not automated like an Autopot.
Yeah, like so autopots have reservoirs. The reservoir in the earth box is I'm sorry, the reservoir for the earth box is in it. So it's inside the whole container. Where it only holds like it says 2.5, but by the time you pack the soil in the corners and some shit falls through the grating and everything else, it is like 2 gallons. Um so that 2 gallons, depending on the size of the plant and where you're at in growth stages, it lasts a couple 3 days maybe.
Yeah. So
So
2 gallons of water at the bottom there.
yep,
Beautiful. And that
yep. There's a
that comes
tube
through
that
a
sticks
tube.
up
Yeah.
through. Yep, there's this tube that sticks up through. You kind of pack soil in around it as you're building the earth box. Um, you pack some soil around it, and then excuse me. The caveat to that is just not watering too soon. Probably the same deal with earth autopots.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
that waiting period, that 10 to 14 days kind of thing, so it lets the roots get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The way I like to do it too is especially with those is getting the top dressing early, like earlier than you normally would. Definitely before they need it. That way it encourages the feeder roots to go up.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good tip.
That's a caveat that I like to use.
And I can't remember who it was. Was it I don't want to mention any names. I forget who it was. Anyways, they had a cover that goes over top of them, like with the zipper on it. Was that Klotz or something? I
Hmm.
can't remember who it was.
Big Howling has one of
Yeah,
them,
okay.
and So Grown. I think So Grown might have been the one they originally
Okay.
found them. I'm not sure where they came from, but if you check with those two, they should have uh like a link for those. I think somebody on like Etsy or something makes those, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
those are
they're
cool. But most of with the ones that you come with them, the plastic ones, they work.
yeah.
They're a pain because you got to kind of like cut a hole for the plant and try to feed the plant through if you didn't get it on before. It can be a pain. So those zipper ones, those are really nice. I
Yeah.
was thinking about getting some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it nice and easy just to unzip it, top dress it, keep
Yeah.
all the moisture on in there, keep it nice and dark, and let the microbes and the worms and whatever you have in there do their thing without being
Yeah, dude.
disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, I think, listening to your podcast there. Did you have worms in yours?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I have a worm bin, so I put worms in damn near everything.
nice.
Um, I'll even throw a couple sometimes in like a 1 gallon if I'm running a 1 gallon for a mom or something like that. If I'm feeling frisky.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, for the most part, if I'm growing, there's worms in there for sure.
beauty.
Yep.
What type of worms? Red wigglers, night crawlers,
Yeah,
something
red
like
wigglers.
that? Red
Yep,
wigglers.
red wigglers. Yep.
Awesome.
I got one of those. What are they called? Urban worm bags.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's a flow through system. They work pretty good.
cool. Yeah, it's something I haven't got involved in yet. I do want to. I have tried but failed. Did a little worm box outside. Got too hot and just kind of killed them off. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'll get
I
to
have
it
the
one day.
benefit of having a basement.
Yeah, I have a basement too. I just have too much stuff. The wife won't let me have any more stuff in here.
Know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
no
Cool.
doubt.
So you got a living soil bed too that you got in another
Got a
tent.
couple.
Oh, you got a couple.
Got a
Okay.
couple more. Yeah, I got two 4x4s with 3x3 living soil beds in them. The
Nice.
grassroots.
Grassroots living soil
Yeah.
beds. Awesome.
Yeah.
And how long have you had those for?
The one is just finishing up its first grow. The second one, two grows? Two half-ass grows. I grew those F1 tangies that I had grown some F1 tangy tip iguanas in, but I had grown like a massive amount of clover at the same time, and the clover just overran and stunted the F1. So those things, I say it was already one grow in there, but I mean, yeah, can you guess what size that is through camera? Yeah. Sorry guys. It was probably they were probably 16, 18 inches tall, all four of them, because I had put four in there thinking this is gonna be super easy. Yeah, not so smart with the clover. And then those harvested, but before they were done, I planted a couple more autoflowers. Forget what they were, like a white widow, some BS, just trying stuff, playing around. So let's say I got one grow on that one, and I've replanted some photos on that now. So that's starting its second grow. And when this other tent comes down here in the next week or so, it'll be its second grow too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they're just about 6 months to a year kind of thing. Old ish.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say like October, November, I started the first bed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
This other one, so it's 8, 9 week. It's 8 weeks, I think. Somewhere around now, 8 weeks into flower. So January. So I think I did 6 weeks of veg in that tent before that. So 3.5 months on that one, maybe 4 or 5, 6 on the other, somewhere in there.
Yeah. And you
I
plant.
said I was going to start taking notes, but I'm not much of a note taker.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the medicine that we tend to find ourselves using makes me forgetful.
Yeah. It'll do that for sure.
Yeah, but who cares? It's all in good fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
find
that's man.
myself.
I mean, that's what I went with the living soil and everything. It's just like because I don't want to think. I don't want to be a science experiment. I just want to grow the plant.
Yeah.
I want people to grow the plant. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And having
I
the
hate like. I'm sorry.
nope. I was just gonna say,
No,
and
I was gonna
having
say I
that
just.
amount of soil there, it's actually, allows you to take that 1 2 month break between, having the top dress and whatnot. It
Oh yeah.
allows you to be
So
that
in this
lazy
one,
grower.
this whole grow, I never top dressed at all. I mean, there was 70 gallons of soil for four
Oh,
plants,
nice.
so
Nice.
never even top dressed.
Cool.
So what I'll do with this one is I'll just throw some cover crop over once these banana milks are done. I'll throw some um, cover crop on top of those and for to start my next run of seeds.
Awesome.
Yeah, so as those seeds, I'm gonna run the Farmer Freeman test. I'm gonna run reg, so I'll run the Farmer Freeman test. So I'm waiting for that. I'll have the cover crop already planted and growing. Then I'll chop that, top dress, and put some castings on top right off the bat.
Cool.
Once I get the sexing and probably like 3, 4 weeks maybe.
Yeah.
I'll transplant once I start the seeds, I'll be 3, 4 weeks. So it'll give everything a time to equalize and the cover crop to go so that I can chop it and
Yeah.
go that way.
Do you direct sow your seeds right into that living soil bed?
No, so I have another tent that I use. It's a prop tent.
Okay.
So I had been cloning and propagating in that tent, but it's just a small 2x4x4. So it's got little light and just my SOP is to start everything in there.
Yeah.
It works so well for the way I do it. It's like, why mess with it?
Yeah.
The only thing I'll direct sow really is autoflowers.
Yeah. Yeah. true
Yeah.
enough.
But in the big beds, man, cannabis seed would just get lost
Yeah, yeah,
in them big beds. It'd just get consumed so quickly.
yeah. From all that cover crop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do
Well,
you
the
think
cover
that?
crop and the worms and the everything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You run that risk
Yeah.
of something else eating it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, seed is a seed. You want seed meal?
Yeah,
Any seed.
yeah. What do you think that one? I think you said it was an autoflower. Why do you think the clover consumed that one plant? Like the roots got tangled up and like kind of over
Yeah, man. So
competed with it.
because I had put so much clover in there, and clover root is incredible. If you ever get some time to like look at the roots of clover, it's insane. So I forget who showed me the picture of the clover root, but it was like, holy crap. And then I went in there and I like pulled a bunch out and I was like, oh yeah, there was no way. Like
Yeah.
literally after I got done pulling that clover out, there was a solo cup's worth of soil not being touched by clover root.
Wow.
So it was like no wonder I ended up with a plant. I ended up ripping it all out. I didn't even chop it down. I was just like, I'm just I went crazy brain, ripped it all right out and said I'll start over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to get into cover crops one day, but I think for myself, in order for me to do that, I would actually need to get into a living soil bed as well. I've kind of always talked about it, always wanted to do it, a 2x4 bed in my 2x4 tent. Uh, you know, I think it's about 80 gallons of soil-ish. But yeah, always want to do it, do the whole cover crop and worms. Yeah.
You could do it in an earth box.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. I've done it in I did the same thing in the earth box too, with the clover. But a lot of times you can plant cover crop, like as you're waiting or whatever, plant some cover crop. I wouldn't go direct clover anymore. The clover root is just it was insane. So I'm not going direct clover anymore. So I get like a mix. It's like a 12 seed mix or something like that. So it's got peas and yada yada in it as well,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. So it just there was a different variety, and then I spread it a little thinner than I did with like when I did the clover.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
but
was
yeah,
gonna,
earth boxes, man.
gonna
You
say
can
that
run an earth
12.
box like a no-till. So throwing cover crop in there is something else too
Yeah.
that you could do if you wanted to play around with some different different cover crops and etc.
That 12 seed cover crop mix, that's a build a soil one?
No, I think it's like an Amazon mix.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes build a soil stuff it's great stuff. It's almost always good stuff, but it's expensive and it's on the other side of the country from me.
Oh,
So,
okay. I thought
yeah.
they were on the East Coast. Am I being
No,
mistaken?
no, they're
They on
in
the West Coast?
Colorado.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, they're in Colorado. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can't even get them up here, so there's too
Really, you
many
can't get at all?
yeah, too many restrictions. Well, I mean, I can get cover crop, but I can't get like build the soil stuff. There's too
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah. That's what I meant.
microbial restrictions and stuff for the border and whatnot. So we have a few companies up here. Uh, I think it's called Black Swallow Living Soil, um, out of Ontario. But again, shipping price, they're on the other side of the country for me, kind of thing. So,
Jeez.
yeah,
Well, I see why you got that Jadam book up there then.
yeah, exactly. Do my own thing.
Nice,
Got
man. That's the way to go.
yeah, I've got my own little jars of Jadam stuff, my JLF and uh, what is it? Fermented fruit juice and fermented plant juice.
Heck yeah, dude. I haven't dove into any of that. I probably should.
Yeah, it's fun. It's super easy.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, just if you're
Okay.
doing defoliation on your plants, just throw it all into a ice cream pail or a 5 gallon bucket. Depends on how much you have, and then just do like equal parts defoliated leaf to brown sugar, and just let her sit. And, some people add water, and but you don't need to.
Is that equal parts by weight?
Yeah, equal parts by weight. Yeah. And then just let it sit and ferment and let it do its thing for months and months if you want to. I think the minimum is like 3 weeks. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a while. But Yeah, I think 3 weeks is minimum, but the longer you let it sit, the better the nutrient value becomes out of them. So,
Okay.
and
Now that you see like bubbles, is it something you have to burp? I've done some ferments before, so you do have to burp it, or you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to burp.
I usually just put a piece of paper towel over top of it. I think you do want to have that fermented bubbler kind of, or a burping kind of thing, right? Open the jar, let the gas escape and whatnot. Yeah, it does sit there and bubble, and you know, you got to mix it around and get everything mixed up. But it's a
Righteous.
it's a cool process, and it's pennies. It's like you can get a couple pound bag of brown sugar for a couple bucks, and you have all the scraps, your veggie scraps, your whatever. Like I made the fermented fruit juice out of watermelon that I had that was just gonna go bad. So I just cut
Oh,
the
no kidding.
watermelon up into like little 1 inch cubes, threw it into a like a 1 gallon jar, and did equal parts watermelon to brown sugar. All the juices from the watermelon were like the water kind of, and yeah, a couple weeks later, strained all the hard rinds and everything off, and I got a good what do you call it, like fertilizer kind of stuff. Like it's not gonna be the best, but it's good enough to add to your garden. There's no bad things that it's gonna come from it. So
You foliar with that, or do you water it in?
I water it in. I don't really foliar anything in. Maybe a little bit of labs I'll do, um, or some of Monts's capsaicin spray. I'll do that foliar, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I don't really do too much foliar. So
The only foliar I find myself ever doing is freaking Dr. Zymes because I can't get rid of powdery mildew.
uh, I wasn't gonna bring that
Yeah.
touchy subject up.
Okay, good. We won't talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on. Skunks. I want to talk about your skunk number one. You
Oh,
got
you
some,
do, huh?
yeah. How's that
Yeah,
going
those
for
are
you?
they're good, man. They're like 4 weeks in flower. They're all pom-pommed out now.
Nice.
Um, I did just look in the cloner. It looks like I got two more cuts that did have roots. Um, they weren't the healthiest cuts when I took them. I don't know what's going on with my soil. These are the ones at my father's house. He's got a 100-gallon grassroots bed in his 4x4, and we got a 2x4 by 18 in the bottom of a 2x4. So he's got two gigantic living soil beds there. So we got one of the skunks in the 2x4, the other four in the 4x4. And the one that was in the 2x4, that was number 10. She rooted like nothing. She's beautiful. Right off the bat, she was healthy, looks healthy, been growing healthy, no problems, just good looking plant right off the bat. I actually took one of the cuts from her and planted her here at my house. She looked so good and I was so intrigued. Um, with these skunks, they're such an inbred line that the stability of the genetics that I'm not worried about finding too much variation in from plant to plant. So I was like, man, this one's been so good. So I was just like, screw it. This one's going to be my mom for now. But I did just see that two more took roots. So
Beauty.
we haven't officially chosen a mom yet, but I got one going here and with the other two taking root. It's going to be curious.
Yeah.
I haven't been over to see him in like a week. So I'm curious.
Yeah.
And you know how old men get. My dad tends to forget to send me pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
also tends to forget to check on them. So I got him those moisture meters for his beds.
Nice.
Man, he's been crushing it this time. They're just doing their thing.
Awesome. You just get those little Amazon ones that kind of have like that green face on it with a little dial, or is it like a?
No, these things are cool. I forget exactly what they're called. I had also got them from Build a Soil, but they're probably a Chinese company or something like that. And it looks like a little gun, and you literally stick it down into the soil, and it just stays there. And then it sends a Wi-Fi signal with all the data and the moisture.
Oh, cool. Okay. So it's not like a blue
Yeah, if you
mont
check out some
or
Build
anything?
a Soil videos, they're using them too. That's where I had actually spotted them from. I was like, oh no, check them out.
Yeah.
So And they work great. I mean, he watches the moisture drop to like 28% or something like that, 26% somewhere in there, and he waters in 5% until it goes back up.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to get into is, once I get a living soil bed is to get some sort of automated watering system kind of going as well with maybe like a Blue Mont system, hook it up to, one of my Autopot reservoirs and use that, try to dial that in. But that's kind of future things. I need to focus on different things right now, so.
I considered those blue mats. They're pretty cool looking. The carrot ones, right? Those are the blue mats.
Yeah. I've heard some
I've
considered
horror
stories from them, like runaway carrots that dry up and the diaphragm opens up and he just floods everything out. I don't know. You got to be careful with them, I guess.
It's nice though. But, I mean, my living beds if I would water a little bit more at a time, I could probably go a couple 2-3 days maybe without worry.
Yeah.
But I like to keep it like water 5% at a time. So it tends to be, especially when I'm heavy into flower, it's like every other day at 5%.
Okay.
If I wanted to water heavy one time once they're in flower and leave for a few more days than I normally would have, with 70 gallons of soil, it's probably not going to be too big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, you're going to water in about a gallon or so or?
So I do 3.5 gallons. I have myself a Chapin.
Okay.
So I just fill that thing up and water it in every other day.
Nice. And that Chapin, for people who don't know, is just basically a hand pump.
Big metal sprayer.
It's got compressed. You can compress a little bit of water in there and spray it out.
Yep. Just like any other pump sprayer, it's just a bigger one and it's metal. A little bit nicer than the plastic ones. The plastic ones cost, I don't know, $40-$50, and they hold a gallon or two maybe at best, and then they break 6 months later if you get 6 months out of them.
Yeah.
I've had this thing pretty much since the beginning, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Getting back to the skunks, I guess. What genetics were they again? They were AG or something?
Those are AGC code.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. And have you?
Yep. These are actually bred from Todd McCormick. So these are original skunks from Skunkman Sam, who got them from his acid tripping hippie neighbor. And I think, don't quote me, but I think somebody stuck them in a freezer. Somebody got them from Sam, and then Todd McCormick had got them. Okay. And Todd McCormick is the editor of The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
No, not sure if you're familiar with that book.
Yep.
If anybody's listening and you're not familiar with that book, you should give it a read. It's got a lot of history on cannabis and the legalization and illegalization and just a lot of the uses that hemp has specifically. And Todd McCormick was the editor of that book. So when he got these seeds that were stuck in a freezer for however long, since the 70s, he did his selection from that. So these are his line of the original. So I'm stoked. My dad's stoked.
Yeah.
He keeps telling me, he's like, boy, if these are the skunks that I remember, it's going to get stinky in here.
Yeah. Have you found any phenos that are stinky, like skunky yet?
They're only 4 weeks in, so I'm not getting too much scent out of them.
Yeah.
Plus, I haven't been over there in a few days and actually gone up. Usually I go over there and we sesh, and I forget to go up and check on things. But, yeah, last time I checked, they were just pre-pom-pom, and the last picture he showed me, they were pom-pom. Nice. So I got to get over there probably tomorrow and check on things.
Beauty. Yeah. All right. Well,
open.
With the skunk talk, I got a question from Charles Budkowski. He asks, how long until you can get us some autoflower feminized skunks?
Never. Autoflowers suck. No, I won't. I don't even know if I'll get into breeding. Honestly, man, I just... Lately, life throws curveballs at you, so I need to slow some things down, and I need to spend some more time growing the plant. I'm not worried about breeding and all this other stuff, but I might keep a mom of this skunk around for some time, especially since I ran the whole 10-pack and got none left.
Yeah.
So We'll see. We'll see what life goes, but yeah, no autoflowers.
Sorry, Charles. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's breeding, even just pollen chucking just for a little hobby or something, it's even uh it's time consuming, and it's not for everyone. And for me, it took me about 3 years before I was like comfortable enough to be growing a male out to do a pollen chuck kind of thing. So yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, I just with these skunks, I think I want to say that was my first reg seed run.
Yeah.
I had helped a buddy do a reg seed run. It was nothing I was scared of, but it was just like I didn't have the time, I didn't have the patience, just throw fems.
Yeah.
But I'd helped a buddy before, and then this time I tried to do it the El Natural way, and then just got impatient and said, I don't know what I'm doing. Sent the Farmer Freeman, and they were like 6 weeks old.
Mm.
So this time I'm just gonna do Farmer Freeman and not even worry about it. Not worrying about waiting and sexing and up potting and yada 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 and taking cuts and flipping the cuts and it's just like I'll just plant the seeds and have a lab tell me what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I guess you guys are pretty lucky with Farmer Freeman and them. I think they were about $10 a test or so.
If you get enough tests, yeah, like 10, 15.
Yeah.
Um, so, and my dad's gonna help. We're both gonna do this together, so we'll probably end up just getting one of the larger packs. That way, it's as cheap as possible because we're gonna stick to reg seeds. Reg seeds just seem to be the way to go for genetics.
Yep.
You mess around with feminizing and reversing, etc. You can get herms more often, and then you can't breed with them if you do want to end up breeding. So it's just like let's take it back to the basics, man. Let's just stick with some regs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
if we're gonna do that, it's just with my SOP and his SOP, it just made sense to just get the lab test.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to contact a couple companies around here, and they were wanting about $30 a test. And I had 10 packs
Oh
of
wow.
rag beans, and it was like, if I pop all 10 of these, that's $300 to get sex testing
Yeah,
done. That's
yeah, that's a
expensive.
lot.
So I'm just gonna grow them out, cut clones, flower the clones out, see what I get, and then, decide from there kind of thing. It's gonna take me a few extra days, but oh well, it's better than spending $300.
What's your SOP for cloning? How do you clone?
Same as you, Aerocloner. I was gonna talk to you about the
Nice.
Aerocloner as well.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you think about them?
I love them.
I do too.
They work great. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I've found that if you use peat cubes in the arrow cloner, they work even better.
Yeah. I haven't tried that yet. I just use a foam cell and just stick the stem right through the foam cell. But yeah.
Yeah, they work too. I've found that I'm getting roots 2 or 3 days, maybe even 4 days sooner
Wow.
with the peat.
So what's your average kind of root development to 4-5 days kind of in? Like I'm getting around 7 to 10 kind of thing. So
I had like 6 days with the peat on that one skunk 10. It was like 6 days in the peat in the cloner. Boom, done. No
yeah.
pH, no nothing. I literally spring water, peat, done. The other ones, they weren't so healthy. They've been in there a while.
Yeah.
But they're healthy. I
Yeah.
change the water when I feel like it, and I got roots.
Yeah.
It's incredible. If I could, I would drag the camera over there and show you right now. They're gnarly looking. But they're starting to root. So as soon as I get them up potted and to put them in the solo cups, I'm happy, man.
Yeah.
That arrow cloner it does it.
Yeah, it's a game changer, life changer for sure. It makes cloning so much easier. I've done all sorts of
So much
methods.
so.
Rockwell, little peat cubes. Yeah, pretty much kind of all the different styles of cloning, and that's by far the easiest and fastest way to clone.
Absolutely. It just
Yeah.
works for me. So much so that I've built my own here.
Yeah.
I did a DIY. It's like I want to say it's a 40-gallon tote. I'm gonna have it a 50 space cloner inside of my 2x4. That thing pretty much fits the entire bottom with a little bit of room for forget what I wanted to put in there. Maybe a heater or something if I wanted it, but 2x4, one like single bar fluorescent light, and a 2x4 tent. And
Nice.
50 clones and 40 gallons to a 40-gallon tote. I didn't measure to see quite how much water it can hold yet, but I got the pump covered. I'm guessing based on how much I put in there, 5 or 7 gallons of water.
Yeah.
And then I got my whole manifold. So the thing is probably 2 foot by 3 foot-ish.
Nice.
And it covers pretty much the whole bottom of the tent. So I'm going to have 50 spaces. And then the whole, what's that thing called? The manifold inside of that covers the whole thing. And I got sprayers everywhere.
Yeah.
I took a video of that thing spraying, just going crazy. It's like, oh yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Gets that perfect aeration of oxygen and water, and it's just a beautiful scenario in there.
Yeah.
I think mine was about 20 to 30 cells or so. I can't quite remember. It's been a couple months since I've used it last.
My easy cloner's 32.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a DIY as well. Yeah, that's why I did DIY. It's a few $100s for the ones off of Amazon and stuff, and I was like, ugh, I'm not doing that. I spent $90. I bought a 300 gallon per hour pump, Home Depot tote, some 3/4 inch PVC piping, and 360-degree nozzles on it, and that thing just rocks it. So went to the grocery store, got some little net pots and foam cells. Yeah. Yep. I mean, for the price of it, I'm not going back to anything else.
No. It was so easy.
Yeah.
To build it. It was so easy. I went with 1/2 inch though.
Okay.
I felt like 1/2 inch would give me more pressure on the spray because the pump would clog it up a little bit. I don't know if that's proved right or not, but they were spraying.
Nice. Yeah, one thing that I need to do is add in some like filtration kind of area to the front of the pump, because I do find that it does, like, a root tip will break off, get sucked up in the pump, get pushed into the nozzle, and then block the nozzle off.
I can hear my aero cloner over here doing that exact same thing right now. It's going bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah. We know that sound. Yeah.
I was considering something like a net, like literally like a super micron net, something really small fibers, and just wrap the pump in that and zip tie it at the top. And when I need to change the water, just take that thing out, spray it down, and put it back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you really wanted to, you could go hydroponic with it and just grow a full plant out of it. I had a flapjacks cut that a buddy of mine gave me.
I saw that.
And the root mass was like absolutely insane. It was getting sucked into the pump. It's like I could have easily just flowered that thing out in that thing and just did a full hydroponic grow with it.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That was so awesome. I remember seeing that. Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing bad to say about the aero cloners. Everyone needs to get on it if they're doing cloning.
The only bad thing I will say about the aero cloner is it can be finicky to go from open root to transplant. I struggle getting that right. So I feel like sometimes I oversaturate or undersaturate or yada yada. That's why I went with the peats. The peat, when you go inside of there, man, the transition to soil is so much smoother.
Yeah. Yeah, that
so
makes
much
sense.
smoother.
Do you wait until you get a good amount of roots, or do you transplant right away when it's like, say you got 4, 5, 6 roots kind of just poking their heads out of that peat puck?
I like to see some spaghetti.
Yeah.
I don't like to see them hanging down, touching the water or nothing, but I like to see some spaghetti. I don't like when sometimes you got that one stray that goes out and then it fans off of that one. It's almost like a tap root from your clone. I don't like to transplant those. I like to wait to see so there's more coming out of different parts of the stem. But with the peat, they tend to just go out everywhere.
Yeah.
And for the most part, what the aero cloner does too, especially if they're healthy. That's the key, man. Healthy cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken both super healthy ones, and ones that are kind of showing a little bit of deficiency, or like has maybe a starting to die off or something. uh the healthier ones just clone right away, and the unhealthy ones take a few days longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. These ones took a few weeks longer, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, they're 4 weeks into flower, and I took them before we flipped them, so they're at least 4 weeks in the cloner.
I mean, if you want to save them, that's kind of a good way to do it. If you can, save the cuts. If you know that particular plant is the one that you're going to keep, you do want to just try to keep them around. And if
Yeah.
4 weeks is what it
Yeah.
takes, then that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Switching it up a little bit, back to your beds. Mustard seed meal. I think you were having what was it, a fungus gnat issue that you kind of got rid of because of this issue, or because of this meal?
Not because of, but in part of. Partial to. Mustard seed meal, man, when it gets wet, it lets off like a mustard gas, and they just the larvae don't like it. They don't like it so much. But between that and actually, it's right here. Microbe life,
Oh, nice.
mosquito control.
It's kind of mosquito dunks kind of thing, or is it
Nope.
just like a
It's
powder?
It's a concentrated drop. Mac Attack Gardens turned me onto this thing, dude, and I'm telling you, it wiped them out.
Beauty.
Completely
Shout out,
between
Mac.
this and the mustard. Between this and mustard seed meal.
Well,
Yeah, it's
it
like
comes in a bottle
6.
inside of another bottle.
Yeah, I don't.
Does it stink that bad or something?
Dude, it smells like beef cubes. You know beef broth
Yeah,
cubes?
yeah. The
No bullshit.
au jus
Hey Max,
cubes.
smell those if you watch this. You better watch this.
Yeah, he watches it. Cool.
So no, he turned me onto those. So what I did was I did that, and it says something like 6 milliliters per 5 gallons or something like that.
That's not too bad.
For your first application, and then it's like 6 drops
6 drops.
after that. Yeah. Per 5 gallons.
Yeah.
This is like super concentrated. It's mosquito dunks. It's mosquito bits.
Yeah.
It's the same, the BTI or BMI, whatever it is, the bacteria that just demolishes the larva.
Yeah. BTK.
It's just in super concentrated form. I think
maybe BTK is for something else, caterpillars or something. But
yeah, I could sit here all night and not find it. BMC is what it's saying.
Oh.
Apply microbe lift. Microbe lift. BMC.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah. BTI. It is Bacillus. Some word I'm not even going to try because everybody already picks on me as it is.
Bacillus thuringiensis Aurelius?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Read this, somebody. Yeah, right.
Pretty sure it's Bacillus thuringiensis Aurelius or something like that. Yeah.
Bravo, sir.
Something. I don't know.
No, but dude, between that and then the mustard seed meal, they were gone. Haven't seen one in that tent since.
Beauty.
Yep.
What how do you get your hands on mustard seed meal? Like what do you need? Do you get it at Build-A-Soil or something, or like can you get it from a natural food store, or just grind it up,
or you could plant some mustard and grow it yourself.
Grow out the seeds and okay.
It's just the seed meal, man. It's like any other seed. Like if you wanted to make corn meal.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, I guess a meal.
But when it gets wet,
ground.
It smells like. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it just straight up turns into mustard gas.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not gonna gag you out. You can smell it if you get close to it. It's not like that, but it does to them.
Yeah.
I've put it in my worm bin and gone in there and gone, ooh. And actually in the worm bin, for whatever reason, it made my eyes water a little bit. I was like, oh, nice.
Nice.
But yeah, I had a fruit fly problem in that worm bin, and the mustard seed meal even took care of that.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, good to know then. I'll have to implement that. I know that insect frass, the black soldier fly frass that I have, it's massive predation kind of thing, similar to the mustard seed meal. It's it's got that pest control additive to it where it's just so gnarly, stenchy shit that nobody wants to go after it. So everything
Yeah.
stays away.
Plus the chitin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Plus the
chitin.
chitin
Yeah,
helps. Yeah. Yeah. That stuff's gonna be amazing, man. I can't wait to see
yeah,
what it does.
yeah. Um, all right. Well, I guess I got another question from another listener of both of ours. What's I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry, I apologize. But what's your favorite training methods? Or do you do any sort of training
Ah.
method?
Yeah. I train. Don't have a favorite. I do whatever it needs. Sometimes they need a super crop. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they need chopping. Sometimes they need topping. Sometimes they need bending. For the most part, I use scrog,
Mm-hmm.
and I just try to bend them over to fill the scrog net up as much as possible. But lately, man, I'll tell you, I've been finding them overgrowing for my space.
Yeah.
I need to have like I'm pushing my 4x4 wall to wall, and it's too much, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a little
I
less
think I
time in
could
veg,
back it out
maybe.
a little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
Little less time in veg for sure. And then I don't need to fill the scrog net so much.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, on a first run with seeds, I don't do too awful much training. I'll usually just kind of push that top over. So some of the bottom ones, once the bottom ones hit the scrog net, I'm good. But I'll just keep bending over until they're all done. Auto flowers, whatever I feel like. Um, I that one skunk in that my dad's 2x4 there. I went like mega bonsai on the thing. I dimmed the lights down because I was trying to fill it up because we did one in the 2x4. So I dimmed the lights so that it would stretch and it was like really flexy and I was just twisting and bending and found myself topping and twisting and bending and everything. It's just I don't have a favorite. I just do whatever needs to get done to
Yeah.
occupy this crazy headspace more so than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what's happening with the plants, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It's all a
Well,
feel thing. I don't know that nobody likes to hear that, but it's a feel thing, man.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, you don't have to stick to one
Yeah.
particular training method. It's, you know, yeah.
Right.
Awesome. All right. Big Green Guy asks, if you had to pick a citrus fruit to eat for the rest of your life, what what would it be and why is it a grapefruit?
It would definitely not be a grapefruit. That stuff is so sour. If I had to only eat one, it would absolutely be an orange. Because how could you not?
Yeah. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna throw a couple
But
Johnny questions at you then.
outstanding.
I'm not too sure if you've actually answered these before or not. Maybe, but you've got so many episodes previous to this, so I can't quite remember them all. But what's your favorite fruit and why is it an apple?
It's actually a banana, I would say. Bananas and blueberries, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah. I like apples, but they're boring.
yeah, yeah. They're
Um,
kind of a
the
beginner
reason I
fruit.
called myself Johnny Apple is because I do like green apple candy.
Oh, okay.
And the Reverend Pirate Frog and I had gotten into another disagreement, as you can imagine, East versus West, about the lime Skittle and the green apple Skittle. So during that time frame, I was calling myself Johnny Weed Killer or some ridiculous
Oh,
asinine name or something along those lines. And he was like, you know what? I should change my name to Johnny Apple. And that's what happened, man. It
there you
just
go.
green apples, green apple candy. That's the way to go. But no, bananas and blueberries, man. That's my favorite fruit.
Yeah, I can agree with the blueberries. Not so much a banana fan, but I'll eat them.
They gotta be they gotta be right, man. They gotta have just the right amount of brown on them for me to enjoy
Yeah.
them. If they're yellow or even green,
Mm,
like just turning yellow, it's not for me. That's gotta have the brown. They gotta be
yeah.
nice and soft.
Little bit of
And,
sweetness going on.
yeah, buddy.
Agree. All right. What is your first seed you ever planted and why was it an apple?
I bet you it was an apple. I remember doing something with an apple-looking seed in like a bag and hanging it in the window and germinating it that way and then planting it and then have it never come to anything. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was an apple seed.
You know, every time you ask that question, I think to myself, what the fuck? Like, what seed did I ever plant? And I can't think of it. You know, I think
It's
some,
either got to be apple or grass. You know, every little kid in kindergarten does those little grass solo
yeah,
cup
yeah,
projects or whatever. It's probably apple or
yeah.
grass or something. Who knows?
You had a guest on the one time, and he said it was like a pea or a bean. You know, like that grade one project kind of thing, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, super similar to that. Like, I wonder if it was a bean. I could swear I remember something like that, but yeah, I can never. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've planted so many seeds throughout my life. It's
I'm 38 years old, man. To remember what I was doing at 4 and 5,
right.
I can't remember what I was doing at 4 or 5 o'clock, let alone years old.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, all right. And what is your favorite pie, and why is it an apple pie?
It's actually blueberry pie, man.
Ooh,
Blueberry pie
all
is
right.
absolutely. My grandmother made me a blueberry pie when I was a young boy, and it has always been my favorite pie.
Mm-hmm.
And mom, I know my mom doesn't watch this, but mom, if you do happen to listen to this, I'm sorry your pies suck compared to grandma's. Just
Yeah,
grandma's pie, man.
yeah,
Grandma's blueberry pie.
yeah, yeah. I remember my grandma's wild berry pie. We used to go on the side of the road, out in the bush, and just pick all the wild berries, huckberries, blueberries, salmon berries, blackberries. Yeah,
Salmon berries.
yeah.
Mm,
Oh yeah, they were good.
nice, man.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. So it was I'm kind of rounding out the hour here. You know, it was awesome having you on. I appreciate you coming on, man. It's, you know, been in the works
Absolutely,
for a
man.
bit
Thanks
now,
for
so
having me.
um,
Yeah.
you know, where can people find you? Well, I guess I should ask, do you have anything upcoming in the future that you're super excited about?
There's a ton of stuff coming, man. I'm just keep an eye out for us. Listen to your average grow and um find me and the Reverend Pirate Frog on Instagram and Discord, and we're around, man. We're in the community. I do want to say thanks for having me, man. I've seen your lineup and I'm super flattered that you asked me to come on. So
Hey. No, I
I appreciate it, man.
everybody is a grower to me. It's no matter how, you know, how much experience you have, if you've just started off or if you've got 50 years behind you, it's, you know,
It was kind of the idea behind our show, man. Just average people.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, buddy.
Everyone
Yep.
is human, so I don't look at anybody as a celebrity, so it's just, you know, we're all the same.
Righteous, buddy. No doubt.
Yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. Like I said again, thank you for coming on, man. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to smash that like button, comment below, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, do all that stuff. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please leave a review. It helps the algorithm, helps get pushed out to many more people, and you know, get friendly faces like Johnny here a little more traction.
Plus, it helps that I'm handsomely good looking.
Yes, yes, exactly. All right,
Yeah.
everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.